What lessons can our garden teach us? Stay tuned, and I'm going to tell you a few lessons that I've learned recently from my garden. Hello there, this is Linda G. Robert, your Back in the Groove Again coach, helping you live your best life now. Now, I'm thinking these days that I should call myself the gardening coach. Just kidding. Oops, is that a leaf? I thought it was a leaf in my hair. My garden has been teaching me so much these days. I'll give you an example. You know, I planted some beans, some purple beans. And I got an example here of, well, that's not the best purple bean, but I have some purple beans here. And I've shared that in other videos. When you steam them, they turn green, which is great. But I was just out taking some beans from my garden, and I noticed that some of them are turning green. Purple, green, weird. That got me thinking, how often do we give up on a project before the project is actually really over? How often do we say, okay, I give up, I don't want to be doing this anymore, or we stop something in the middle of a process before we've actually given it enough time to fully develop? How often do we say, no, that doesn't make any sense to me, or no, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to quit, I'm going to give up? How often do we do that? Often. We do it often. So this bean here taught me that some things just need more time. And maybe my beans are meant to be purple. I don't know. But maybe they're really meant to be green beans. And I just didn't give them enough time to fully develop. Interesting, isn't it? All right, next one I want to talk to you about is, you know, I mentioned that I just picked some fruits from vegetables from my garden, and I have a lot of beans in here, but a lot of little tomatoes. I don't know if you can see a lot of little tomatoes in there. My neighbor gave me some tomato plants, and I thought, okay, no problem, I'll just take them. I already had a few, but I planted a few extra ones. They happen to be cherry tomatoes, and these cherry tomatoes are growing like crazy. The branches are spreading, and every day there goes another cherry tomato. So every now and then I'll pull one out. I'm going to eat it, but then I end up with 20 or 30 tomatoes. Point is that sometimes having too many of certain things makes you want to find out what else you can do with them, right? It makes me want to be creative. So when you have a lot of tomatoes, you got to figure out what to do with them. So now I'm looking at recipes. Actually, I'm going to be making a lasagna with the zucchini that I had in my garden. I'm going to add some tomatoes. Isn't it great how when we do some gardening, it actually can help us be more creative? Now, this is not saying that I'm going to be becoming a cook. By no means am I going to become a cook. What it means is that I'm actually thinking outside of the box. So our garden, in the figurative sense, of course, can help us think out of our garden, especially when we have a lot of abundance. I have another 4 or 5, maybe 5 or 6 spaghetti squash in my backyard right now. I've pulled 2 of them out. I actually think I have one in the fridge right now. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do with all of these spaghetti squash? Remember a few weeks ago, I was asking, what am I going to do with all of these zucchinis? Well, I figured it out, and I got some friends who sent me recipes. And now I have some spaghetti squash, and I got a lot of little tomatoes. I'm not asking for recipes. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, well, if you want to send me recipes, go right ahead. What I'm saying is that when we have an abundance of things, maybe we should really appreciate it, right? Some people complain that nothing is happening. Oh, and we'll talk about the garden thing again. My garden didn't grow anything. Okay, a lot of people have pessimistic attitudes about everything. I'm deciding to be optimistic. I've always been more optimistic. Anyways, well, that's not true. I wasn't always optimistic. 20 years ago, I wasn't optimistic. I developed that. I nurtured my optimism. And so that's what I'm doing now with thinking of everything that I have, including cherry tomatoes. This is Linda G. Robert. You're back in the groove again, coach/farmer. Kidding. Helping you live your best life now so you can love what you do. Stay tuned for more tips. And don't forget to subscribe to my video because you never know what you're going to be listening to next. Bye now.